right?
I'll probably mute myself. I'll talk like a girl. Too snaggy. I ain't the only
Man,
one
it's
that think that way.
2:35 in the morning. Y'all sure I want to do a show right now?
Man, I'm up.
Fuck
Don't
it.
matter to me.
Let's get it. Early
I'm gonna mute myself.
AM.
I'll probably go to bed.
We still lit.
Man, shit. God, I will.
Two-Step Texans.
We still turn. Draft fucking night's over, man. Mm-mm-mm. Mm-mm-mm. Y'all see it on the screen? Trades pending and shit, man.
Pending.
All right, so to start the weekend, but to cap off the weekday, we had an interesting long playoff stretch where it really wasn't as long as guys made it out to be, but we should be playing playoff games faster than regular season games in a sense, especially with the guys that make it to the playoffs, the active motherfuckers that really play. I'll take the rap for that though, but you can't get into the new season without talking about the recap of the last season, which was season 4, man. Season 4, RDL7, man. The Hunger Games continue. People think when I say Hunger Games, the Quarter Quell is for the regular season, but the Hunger Game is when the postseason is over with and we get into, pitted together mode, man. I'm starting to realize that there's not as many hungry guys in the league that can survive in a Hunger Game setting, right? Like we about to boot the Broncos. He's out there. You gotta worry about that. That shit's over with. You know how in Hunger Games when they in the arena and the clock go off and it's time to haul ass and go do shit, and as soon as they hop off the joint, the first cannon will go all boom,
Mm.
and you like, well, it's 2 people from each district and it's 12 districts. That's 24 people. As soon as we jumped off the canopy, you heard a boom, cannon go off. That means there's only 23 left. Hope it wasn't nobody from my district. We're out there. That's the Broncos. But the whole thing to it is the hunger game, the hunger part of it. We gave y'all a very, very, very entertaining playoff run, no matter how you slice or dice it. If you paid attention to the playoffs, it's no way it didn't capture your attention, whether you were playing or you were watching what was happening in the postseason, the playoffs. It's no way the storylines didn't garner your attention and capture your energy and have you locked into it. And it kind of baby without saying it, but a lot of y'all had very, very enjoyed what y'all saw or what y'all watched in anticipation. So, and it led up to a very, very good, like, I don't know how big the ratings would have been for that Super Bowl. Like, LA Rams, Kansas City Chiefs. It had that LA Rams, Kansas City Chiefs feel back when Matthew Stafford wasn't the Rams quarterback. Anybody remember who the quarterback was when they had the shootout? The year the Rams made it to the Super Bowl and got aired by the Patriots?
Jared Goff.
Right. And that was Patrick Mahomes. That's the year he still would do work all year long and then get to Tom Brady in the playoffs and barely lose. Remember, Tom Brady wasn't just beating Patrick Mahomes. Mahomes was shooting it out. It was at one point it became who had the ball last.
Mm-hmm.
let me ask y'all, what had better ratings? Patrick Mahomes' first Super Bowl in RDL7, that game against the Lions, or the second Super Bowl against the Rams? What do you think the ratings were? Which one was higher? You think ratings probably would have been higher?
Uh, I don't know. That's kind of tough, actually.
It's not kind of tough.
Uh,
It was the Rams Chiefs. The problem was, I think both.
I would,
Go ahead.
I was
I
about to say,
would
I
say,
don't have to disagree.
I would say it was supposed to be Rams Chiefs, but just in the way that the play style of the Rams changed up drastically, I think it just kind of like you might go back and rewatch the Lions Chiefs Super Bowl and be like, shit, I don't know, like.
I get that part of it, but I don't care about the play style. I care about the anticipation, the want to see, the watch, the build up to it. You know, you,
Okay.
movies can get a good turnout, and at the end of watching, it might have a bad rating, right? But you're gonna count the ticket sales first, and 90% of the time, they're gonna say the ticket sales is what determines if the movie was good or not, until the tomatoes come out and all that shit. So what I'm pretty much trying to say is, I think the build up, Coach T and the Rams versus Patrick Mahomes, in my opinion, might have been bigger rating, especially in anticipation. Nah, y'all understand what I'm trying to get at, or where I'm coming from?
Yeah, I can see
I,
it.
I
Yeah.
understand. Yeah, I was going to disagree, but I actually agree. But not for the points that you're bringing up, and not for the point of who was playing each other. Because when it comes to who was playing each other, to me, the Chiefs versus the Lions uh, had a lot more bite to it. But what made this second Chiefs Super Bowl, it was actually everything that led up to the Super Bowl. It was the journey of the Rams. It was everything the Rams did towards the end of the season to set up his rematch with Seattle on his journey towards a championship. I think that's where people got vested. They got vested in the journey. Everything about that playoff had people tuned in. I mean, you had a lot of people who was waiting for Seattle to fall. You had a lot of
Hmm.
people that was waiting that always look for the Lions to fall. There a lot of people always looking for the rematches between the Chargers and the Chiefs. So there was a lot of undercard action that if it was a pay-per-view, then the Rams and Chiefs was a better pay-per-view, but it was because of the undercard, not because of the main event.
Right, right. I mean, that was said perfectly. That was said perfectly. The anticipation, the build up to, you know, to the Super Bowl was very, 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 very good. Now get to the Super Bowl game, and the Chiefs totally went out there and dominated the football game with precision offensive play calling, dominant defense, and great play on defense. They held an explosive team. So what was the score again? How many points did they hold that team to? And I called that not the score, and not that they will hold it, but I talked about them not giving up a lot of points and how good that defense actually
Mm-hmm.
played.
Yeah, you did.
How many points did the Rams score in that game?
14. If memory serves me correct, I think
That's
they only
huge.
scored 14.
Yeah. So the Chiefs went out there and totally dominated offensively and defensively. But after the Super Bowl was played, You know, the chat was buzzing all day. That's why I said the anticipation was there because guys didn't know if we was going to be drafting at night. Will we take some time? And we took our time. And one of the main things that was said in the chat when we decided we would not do a same night draft was guys better get it together, get to. Let me ask you this. We gave guys a whole 24 hours to get their shit together and really get in GM mode. Shogun, I'll ask you first. Why is there a lack of GMing in a league
Well, I
where
mean,
it should be a lot of GMing going on?
if we really want to be honest, you're asking people to be something that they're not. That's the shortest answer. You're asking people to be strong at something that they're weak at, and I'm not talking about from a football standpoint. Some of them can't get deals done just simply because communication. Either they don't know how to communicate, or there's some deficiency in that war room that does not allow them to make certain deals, whether it's pride or whether it's communication or like you pointed out before, relationship, lack of.
I mean, in 24 hours, we saw a handful of teams getting busy. Like I didn't see a whole lot of trades being sent up outside of the same couple of teams that have been pretty much moving all year down there, or had their had their clutches on. Now, guys, I saw players getting thrown in the chat on the blocks, thrown in the chat 30, 40 minutes before the draft.
It's
When you
basically wasting your time.
when you have movement that happened during and like GM and don't never stop. While we're drafting, some guys that do it really well are drafting and still GMing for after the draft. Some guys are drafting and GMing for next year. Some guys are drafting to be able to put themselves in a situation to move to get what they really want. I think the guys that take that route or do some things like that have a different way of getting to a build, getting to a team that can line up, from the team across them and not look like a team that's like you're gonna get your ass kicked. You just don't have the tools. You don't have the things you need to be successful in some of these games, right? What what makes it outside of what you saying that these guys don't have it, right? They just don't have that, in them. They just can't do some things. You're asking them to do things they ain't comfortable with. But how hard it is to look at teams. You're looking at guys' rosters when you're complaining when you're losing to them. Why can't you look at them rosters and see if there's something you can get from those rosters? Because all this adds up to me to what your day gonna look like in the draft. What's your day gonna look like during the off season? I heard you say while you in practice mode up late night with all of us, you really like your team.
hmm I mean, I, I really, really like my team. So it's got me, to do something that normally I don't do. I'm one of those guys that that shows up game day, turn the game on, play, turn the game off. But I've become vested in expanding and learning some additional things on about Madden that I didn't care about before.
Right. It all comes down to putting the work in. Like, everybody want the beach body with late night snack mentalities.
Hmm.
Levels to this shit.
I mean, I just, I took some games where, I was giving up plays to, you know, certain things. And so I would spend games just trying stuff or either asking the player, like, how did you do that? And, of course, they're not going to give that information up. So I, I go into practice mode now and try to figure it out myself. I mean, somebody might say, well, hey, just go look it up.
Mhm.
I ain't wired like that. I'm not going to YouTube for nothing. I refuse. The football player in me refuses to go look it up. I'll learn it. I'll practice and I'll learn it just like I did when I played.
Mhm. You had the Carolina Panthers make a whole lot of late moves from, I would say, somewhere between like week 10 all the way up until the last minute to be able to make a trade. Those guys went from playoff picks to the first pick in the first round and the first pick in the second round. By the time they was done moving around, they had double picks in both rounds. They started off with double picks in both rounds, moved things around, got some things done, and vamoose. You whacked at me. Take them runs back to the factory. I see. So let's talk about at one. The Panthers was on the clock 24 hours to think about what they wanted to make a move and do, right? Did the fact that, Max, I'll go to you first, the fact that Quinn Ewers got traded, did that tell you right away the Panthers' intentions? Or did you know their intentions when they moved to the first pick?
Um, I knew that quarterback was heavy when they just got the first pick, but knowing the coach, he could find some leverage and maybe bust some other moves that maybe it wasn't going to be Arch. But then, once 5-star was confirmed, traded, that confirmed, Arch's arrival.
Think about this. The Panthers went and got the first pick, and it wasn't even content to having that pick. They dangled that first round pick in the chat the entire time they had it. All the way up until I think the 11th hour. Where they dangled it. There was nobody in their right mind that thought to, come down and get it. Especially when he said the major key words that would have attracted me if I was the guy in position to be able to do this. Panthers is willing to move the first pick, but want to stay in the top 10. Now think about the top 10 and the needs. In the top 10, how many people needed a quarterback in your mind? Snake, I'll go to you, Snake, here. How many teams needed a quarterback sitting in that top 10?
I would have thought the Giants would have took a quarterback. The Dolphins, possibly even the Colts. Okay. I'm missing somebody.
Nah,
Definitely would have thought the Giants.
you had the Panthers, Texans, Cowboys, Giants, Colts, Bengals, Jaguars, Lions. Don't remember who had 9. I think it was the Steelers that might have had the 9th pick.
I think so.
Yeah, I think it's the Steelers.
And then the Dolphins. The Steelers took themselves out of the quarterback hunt by getting Quinn Ewers.
Hmm.
But the Dolphins landed their guy at 10. I mean, how comfortable was it watching? Like you want a quarterback, right? And you got 9 out of 10 people that needed a quarterback had 3 guys in mind. Would you agree to that, Max? If you needed a quarterback in this draft, it was three guys that you knew you could hit on and up the ante at the signal caller position, right? You had Arch Manning, Nico Amaliva, and Dante Moore.
It took me taking it to the trading Ewers to the Steelers made it took him out of it, so that just was like that helped the Dolphins out too. Like
Yeah,
shit.
that was big time. But so Arch Manning makes it the fourth Manning to go first overall. Didn't the grandpa go first overall to the Saints?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Archie.
Yeah.
Archie went to the Saints. Peyton went to the Colts. Eli went to the Giants. And now Arch goes to the Carolina Panthers. Now, before we dig into the do's and the don'ts and the things that happen right there, Quinn Ewers was shipped out of Carolina with the Panthers having a number one pick and knowing exactly what they was going to go get. Now, let's think about this for a second. Quinn Ewers, in 2023, was the starting quarterback for the Texas Longhorns program. 22 and 23, he was the starting quarterback for the Texas Longhorns. And in 23, Arch, redshirt freshman year, didn't see the field. Quinn Ewers backed him off. But Quinn Ewers knew he would have to leave as a junior and not be able to enjoy, college like, guys that know they're definitely getting drafted high. He had to leave early and didn't get drafted high at all. At all, because of Arch Manning being there. Like, you were not going to start quarterback for the Longhorns with the power structure of the Arch or of the Manning family in the background. They would chill for the year one, be like, okay, we'll give him a year to red shirt, but if Quinn Ewers mess up at all, who's going in. To only get into the NFL and finally get the starting job in your second year with the Carolina Panthers, get them to the playoffs, lose your playoff game to get shipped out of there again for Arch Manning. I don't think we can make this up. What was the vibe around Quinn Ewers when they told him that he'll be going elsewhere to continue his NFL career? Because I'm quite sure your GM Snake told Quinn Ewers not only that they was going to go get a quarterback, but they were going after Arch Manning. I mean, what was the vibe? Like, if I'm in Pittsburgh now as the quarterback, of the Pittsburgh Steelers, I want to play Carolina Panthers in the worst way if I'm Quinn Ewers.
And we just told him we respect him as a starter and know he get a starter capability. So we sent him to a situation where he can go start, man. That's what he wanted as a competitor, man. So we worked with him, and we worked out some things and sent him to the Pittsburgh Steelers. We wish him nothing but the best.
What are the Carolina Panthers getting with their number one overall draft pick in Arch Manning? What are the Carolina Panthers getting? I want to hear from the GMs and the coaches' perspective on what they think they're getting before I listen to outside opinions.
Just a legacy player, man. He's been born for this, man. We feel this quarterback position to him is just second nature, man. He just do a little bit of everything. seen some talent. It just happens to be that he follows Quentin Ewers to college and to the pros and takes his job, but it's nothing intentional. It's just he can do everything.
What do you think, Max? What are the Carolina Panthers getting in Arch Manning?
Um, I would say unique thrower of the football. Uh, NFL throws in a high school level, so I just think his timing and accuracy is going to be very quick to adjust to the NFL speed and the NFL DBs. A quarterback that can also lead, majority by example, honestly, um, and just iron sharpens iron type of mentality.
I like that. I
And
like
then
that.
in a division with Bryce Young, I think it'll be very interesting.
That's
And
the very interesting. But you got Will Levis there.
I'm not saying Will Levis.
Bryce Young just joined that division. He'll have a full season under his belt this season right now. You got Malik Willis over there who just made the playoffs, and now we got a quarterback carousel over there that looks good for really legit, potential quarterbacks who's looking to dominate. I like Archman. I do think he brings, like you said, the legacy, right? The legacy of the Manning family at the quarterback position. If history tells us anything, that this guy is going to be a very good leader, and he's going to be a very, very unique talent. Like I think he'll be a generational talent. I think they get in the when it comes down to arm talent, though, is the difference between strong arm and arm talent, though, right? Y'all both agree. Everybody agree with that. Like
Mm-hmm.
I think Archie is the better arm talent. I think actually probably a lot of guys wouldn't agree, maybe wouldn't agree to this, but I do think Arch is more of a better athlete at the quarterback position than Quinn is as well. It kind of opens up some things for the Carolina Panthers to do offensively, knowing that their quarterback isn't the typical Manning quarterback that stand in the pocket and let it go. That's what he can do, but he's athletic enough with that 4.6 40 to be able to make some plays with his legs as well. Does the Arch Manning, when you pick that high, right? You're either going to do it because you want to play with a player you like, or you want to play with, or you want to go get a talent that's going to change your franchise. Does Arch Manning change the Carolina Panthers?
I think he's capable of definitely. Um, Not only just from a trait standpoint, just the legacy built in them, just the understanding of what type of player is made at this point.
Yeah, I think he's a guy that can change that program because I think the next step at the quarterback level is a guy that can do everything, that can unlock all five boxes, you know,
Hmm.
that can have abilities, more abilities at throwing a football. Again, arm talent, right? I think that receiver room will benefit big time from unlocked Arch Manning with everything to his to everything for his arsenal. Like he can literally stomp with the big dogs. I mean, he can stomp with the guys that are already there. Them ability guys that not just two abilities, guys that got five traits open and a superstar X factor ability. So I think that helps a guy like Quentin Johnson. That helps a guy like my
It helped the whole team from the
yeah
beginning
yeah.
because he on a rookie contract, so I
Mm-hmm.
can spend money in other places if I choose to for the next few years, basically.
Yeah, for the next five.
Next 5 years.
We always talk about you better win
Ain't
it in that window of a quarterback not having a contract. Want to win it in that
it
window.
ain't no building. It ain't no building them up. You know what I mean? I still gotta get. I gotta build them, but it ain't no building him the X factor either. So, like you say, you get them all the abilities. So, you upgrade. Period. So.
All right. Before we go to what was picked in the top 10, the
Best
next
player in
team
the draft,
that needed a
number one
quarterback.
player in the nation. Oh, my bad. You know, it was actually the number one player in the nation. I looked, you know, but I know that we did our scouting reports, and you know, it just comes a time when talent takes past everything. You don't let the number one player in the draft. You just go get him.
And you know what? I mean, from the 23 class, he came out as the number one recruit in the 23 class. 3 years later, he still holds that same title. How much of it is him or the name?
It's a combination. I mean, I think the name has a lot to do with it. The name brings a lot of the extra spotlight, the extra attention as well. But with the name, you know, that just lets you know how long he's bled, sleep, eat, and drank football.
Yes, sir. Yes,
So
sir. Yeah,
you're
that's
gonna
one
take a
thing I agree
chance.
with.
If you're gonna take a chance with somebody, why not?
I'm in 100% agreement with that.
Yeah.
All right. So when we look at teams that need a quarterback that was sitting in that top 10, we can go to the next team, which is the New York Giants. Did this nigga fall asleep? You gotta mute the living life out of him. Oh my God. Good night, guns. Let's get him muted. Mm-mm-mm. Oh my God. All right. So, we're not going to be on a super long show tonight. We're going to definitely kick off the recap where everybody up and can really watch. But listen, man, the New York Giants was up next, man. And I mean, if anybody was a betting man, any of you guys would have bet that New York Giants team was over Malik Cunningham?
I would I would have thought so.
Yeah, I definitely would have thought so. Especially picking this high in the draft again. I would have. Most important position is time to reevaluate or something.
I mean, was it a
Especially in
miss?
this draft.
I mean, you start this season off against the divisional rival Philadelphia Eagles and you lose a 31-14 ball game. Did this franchise drop the ball yet again on a chance to change their fate and with their direction by not drafting a quarterback?
At least by not looking for a quarterback change. I mean, at this point, you need everybody at least to have a quarterback with abilities. It just helps you. It's just a little bit better.
Does Cunningham get paid as a New York Giant?
Oh man, he got a lot invested in him. He drafted him. He was a first round pick.
And then you never can blame a team for going after what they want, what they like, what they feel like they need. But we're allowed to critique it as well as give props. When we give flowers, we give flowers. But critiquing something is a critique. My question would be, they went tight end, number 4 overall. We've seen it done. Get your little badass out there. We've seen it done. Tight ends go super high. We've seen tight ends go number 1 overall. We've seen tight ends go number 12 overall. We've seen them go. But the third best tight end on the board goes number 4. Just give me your thoughts on that. Snake, I'll go to you first.
I think it was better talent. I think it was just better talent in the draft overall than. I think it was a reach. The first reach. I don't think that player is going to change too much. What's going on over there is too much other talent out there. That wasn't even the best tight end on the board.
That's my fight. My fight is that wasn't the best tight on the board. And if you're thinking about speed, unless you saw acceleration being better, I don't know what you saw better in Jaleel
Maybe he just
Skinner.
stopped at the first one. Maybe he just stopped at the first tight end he saw or something. I don't know.
When you had an athlete that's our only athlete in the league right now that plays has a major league baseball contract outside of Kyler Murray, where he doesn't play for anybody anymore. But Deuce Robinson is a true sport athlete at the professional level. Deuce Robinson is not only the best tight end to come out in the 23 class, but he's an animal. But Jaleel Skinner, I mean, if you think about the think-abouts, Jaleel Skinner isn't something to sneeze at either. Had a really good career at Miami. But over the last few drafts, can you remember the Giants picks?
Oh, I mean Cunningham. I know he drafted Cunningham early.
It starts with Malik Cunningham at 32.
Cunningham.
The very next year, into 24 draft, Dante Thornton went top 10.
Okay.
Pick 10 exactly. All right, and we had a draft before the draft we just had. Do anybody remember who the pick was?
It was somebody off. Oh, he got a cornerback. He got that cornerback.
Yep. Now that's not a miss there, right?
No.
Damani Jackson. 71 tackles last year, 6 tackles for loss, 3 interceptions as a rookie. And then there's Jaleel Skinner. How does the Giants capitalize off of that? Because what we're saying is this was a miss pick, right? We're saying yet again, they hit or miss, and they missed. They swung, and they went strike one, came back, swung, got on base, but got back up the bat again, and they struck out again. Only reason I call it a strikeout is because at 4, 2 picks behind you were the Cincinnati Bengals, and they went and got the exact same position that the Giants attacked, which was tight end, and they went and got Deuce Robinson, the number 1 tight end on the board. The difference between Deuce Robinson and Skinner is 2-point acceleration. But everything else screamed Deuce Robinson was the better tight end. This is what the Giants missed. Drafting the 3rd tight end on the board, they missed. Superstar X Factor tight end. When you call Arch Manning the best player in the draft, a guy that's competing with that conversation is this tight end right here.
Yeah, one of the best talents in the draft.
I mean, the guy with a green arrow up right now is at 90 overall. He's ready to go right now. So he came out 88 high overall. How do the Giants savage that? Like, do you think they got to get busy and try to start making some things happen?
It won't hurt them to just bust a move.
Like, you in agreement with me that they can't sit around and wait for another draft to try to fix some things over there, right? They got to do something now.
Cardinals turn look 1 pick into 5 players, so 5 starters. So to build your team some type of way. You made trades. You made trades all the time. Like give up heck of players. We done heard you give up 3, 4, 5, 6 players for one player as well, or a whole plus picks, or even fault. Like I mean,
So we scoop.
Maximus, people you got to bust and trade sometime. Like man, people will pay for stuff.
Especially if we get in the office and can't refuse. All right. So let's go from 4 and go back to what happened at. I want to see what the rookie safety look like.
Who else bust some trades?
He got Brendan
The
Gant.
Dolphins did bust a rack of trades. That Bryce Young trade was a big trade.
Yeah, it was. It was huge trades.
Like
the Titans bust move. They not scared to make moves.
Tyson's bust some trades, and then had a hell of a draft too.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh, he
had a hell of a draft.
D West locked in, made a great early first pick. He made a couple of nice picks, but D West always makes some picks. He always drafts some nice.
That was my guy the whole way.
Who else? A good draft, Hoodie.
Hoodie stayed to. He just stick to the script. Speed, kill, simple as that. The one thing we gonna do is we gonna put burners on the field. You got to cover them burners for 4 quarters.
And then you always gonna make a trade. You always gonna have a good draft, and then bust a trade. You gonna draft who you want, then bust a trade
right after the draft.
Who else do I know off the top of my head? Man, Nico fell to the Dolphins.
That was a big fall too.
Move, so,
Nico was highly upset. He was appreciative of the Dolphins drafting him, but he was highly upset.
He had conversations of going number 1.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he was another highly talented player. Has been a highly ranked quarterback all of his life. You know, from high school to college level.
Mr. Pajama Man.
A talented player, yeah. So you know, he was in the conversation.
Mr. Pajama Man, when you talk about the quarterbacks of that 23 recruiting class, it was always either it was Archie or Nico who's the better quarterback. But guys fell asleep on the guy. He got arrows down. He don't want to be there. He talking about the safety. He mad as hell. The safety there. Brendan Grant, linebacker / safety. He can play both. He's a super tweener for sure. Not just a tweener because of his size. He's a guy that really, do both. He's not a safety. He's not a linebacker. They don't know. They just know he's a special player on that defense. I mean, he is a fucking flat out athlete. But yeah, Nico, Mr. Pajama Man, that guy, and him and I think him and Arch Manning will always be joint by hip in comparison, like in conversation. Like we're always gonna go back and look at them two and say, who's the best? The quarterback room, though, this quarterback room, though wasn't a lot of dog quarterbacks, but the ones that came out, because it's some 23 quarterbacks from the 23 recruiting class that ain't come out. They stayed for their senior year. Some stayed for their redshirt junior years, right? And so there's some dogs. There's another set of dogs that could have came out this year that did not come out this year. They want to enjoy the college experience a little bit more. But Dante Moore was also in this draft. He's a quarterback that came on the scene as a true freshman starting for UCLA and Chip Kelly. And had UCLA playing really good football from 2023 to 2026. He went to the Buffalo Bills. How you feel about that pick, though?
It was an interesting. It was a smart pick. It was a cool pick. It was a little deceiving. You know, we seen such good play out of Josh Allen this past season,
Mm-hmm.
so it was a little surprising, really. You know, we just seen Josh Allen make a Pro Bowl and even take them Bills to a playoff appearance.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe that since he failed to him, does this mean Josh Allen is on his way out the door, or is he going to just sit him and groom him for a year? I guess.
Because they got the number 3 over, and you see there's no red arrows at all to this pick. They got the number 3 player rated on the board at 19. I'm gonna tell you like this: Josh Allen, 88. I don't think Josh Allen need to hang it up right now, but I also do think getting a quarterback like Dante Moore, they can move on from Josh Allen right now if they wanted to. And guess who I would be on the phone with right away?
Hmm. No,
The New
New York
York
Football
Giants.
Giants.
Mm-hmm. Remember when I said the Giants gonna have to do some still play? They're gonna have to do some things other than just wait for next year's draft. They could go get a Josh Allen from the right down the street, New York to New York, right upstate New York to you know to the Red Apple to upstate New York. Josh Allen could go to the New York Giants and help and change some of that shit that's going on over there fast. But do the Giants see the vision of a Josh Allen? They can Josh Allen the shit out of them and let him be a bridge while he's still franchise worthy. Um, and then Dolphins. The Dolphins go get Nico Amaliva. Did this speed the process up for the Dolphins to be a playoff team again? The Nico Amaliva.
Yeah, I think so. I think gotta give him kudos for the organization being patient, just sitting still and taking him. Hey, he just fell drop right in their lap. Like might be a perfect match.
I think the fact that they landed their quarterback, although they set themselves back with the Bryce Young trade, but they landed a top tier quarterback to replace him right away a half a season later. Nico Amaliva is for real. He's the real deal. And the Dolphins are in a great situation with Nico at the helm now. Very good situation. He comes into a team that is loaded with weapons still, and they can get things done from the skill player position. So I like this move. Then they're going to be playing on a 4th place schedule, so I really like this move. Nico can really do some damage in year 1 as a rookie. Then Coach Prime comes down to number 2 and gets another one of his players from college, Marty McLean. Did you see this coming? You saw it coming, right, Snake, when they started trading corners away and things like that. You saw something was in the works to come in to go get the number 1 corner in the draft, like Marty McLean. They calling him the next Jalen Ramsey.
Y'all knew it was coming as soon as we seen the Texans move up.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Same old song.
Same old song. Same old song. But they getting a dog at cornerback right now. That's going to be over here matched up with some other dogs. It should be very interesting to see how the secondary start to shape itself out. At number 3, we had the Dallas Cowboys, and they took who most in the state of in the United States of America would say the next Tyreek Hill. And Hoodie will argue, I don't know, dog. I think I got the next Tyreek over here. but they took Zachariah, however you want to say his name, Branch, the old Oakland Raiders wide receiver Branch, his grandchildren. Zion and Zach Branch were both in this year's draft, but not so fast, my friend, because the Dallas Cowboys traded Zach Branch to the Houston Texans.
What was that trade? Boatload of pick. That for life. Couple wide receivers.
And they got a 3-for-1 because they get they got a first round pick next year as well out of the deal. Now,
Dogs.
the Texans not only cleared up some some cat situation that could have caused them problems down the stretch with JSN, but they got rid of arguably, not playing in the league, but coming out of that draft, arguably the number one receiver in that draft as well, and JSN, although we know who the real number one receiver was, and he showed it on the field, and Quentin Johnston. But you had that argument between Quentin, JSN, the kid that went to Chicago, his name is fumbling me right now, Zay Flowers, and then you're looking at Jordan Addison, came out in that first draft. The Cowboys anteed up. They got A.T. Perry, JSN, first round pick. But let me ask you this: you bring in a receiver like Zach Branch, the Houston Texans do, and they up the ante when it comes down to burners running down the field. That gives them a collective room of one giant 6'4" receiver. Then you got to still look at the tight end play over there that they got, and then they loaded it up with guys that are 4.3s and 4.2 guys. Does Zach Branch does he have the potential to be the number one receiver out of this draft this year, stat wise?
Yeah, he a big play wide receiver. I mean, definitely got a big play out capabilities. Ooh, baby.
Mm-mm-mm. At 5, we had a metahuman get drafted at 5 to the Colts, only to get traded to the Detroit Lions. We have a 6'5", 225-pound super athlete that can play tight end or defensive end, as he chose to play DN for South Carolina and come out in the draft as the number 5 overall pick. From your hometown, Snake, Nicholas Harbor, the 6'5", 225-pound super freak that runs a 10.2 and 100. Added Harbor, listen to what I'm ready to say.
Tight end freak of nature.
He turned the Double H boys to the Triple H boys. How disrespectful was that about to be? Harbor, Houston, and Hutchinson.
Show him and.
Harbor, Houston, Hutchinson. Harbor, Houston, Hutchinson. So now they can kick. They got the speed package they can play now. They can kick Aiden Hutchinson down to the D tackle or Harbor. Come on, look at this freak right here. Now 10.2, honestly, probably should have came out faster than his 93. He went into college at 225, came out of college 20 pounds heavy at 245 by his junior year. I mean, you're getting a guy that if they wanted to, he could have been the number one tight end in this draft. You're getting a guy that's going to be a flat out problem for this Lions team. The way they grade scheme and what they can do with that type of talent at the pass rush is about to be crazy. Aiden Hutchinson, who's been one of the better sack guys in the league. I mean, Houston just had 40 sacks last year, and they all got speed and quickness and a hop and strength to do whatever they want back. This is crazy. I mean, it's very crazy what just happened here for a first, second, future first, and a player, Nicholas Harbor. Now, the Colts are going to be loaded in next year's draft. But the front side of that is this the type of piece that can literally get them to the Super Bowl? They got help on it. They got help on the back end because at 8 they got the cornerback, the junior college transfer, 6'4", who also ran a 10 sub 1040. Sub 10 100. Super freak at cornerback at 8. And Sony, how you want to say his name? Lalea. I don't know how you say his name. Laulea. Yep, Laulea. Sion Laulea. Arizona, 6'4", man, 96. This kid is going to be a problem. And he can cover. I mean, 80 man, 80 zone, 85 press with the green arrows up right now. The guy could cover. And he's super athletic, man. He's a long stride guy, man. He can run with you, height with you. Imagine what he does at the cornerback position with that speed. And in the conference where the majority of the teams is throwing that ball downfield. They got another pass rusher and a guy that got the potential to be a shutdown corner in this league. And Sion Laulea. Rich get richer. God damn. This is what you guys got to deal with in the NFC North. And then you can say one of the best picks of the draft is right back where the Bengals picked at 6, because we just talked about 5. And the Bengals at 6, they go get Joe Burrow, his first tight end. Like, Joe Burrow hasn't really had a tight end, especially not like this. Brevin Jordan has been solid for this team, but like now, you got a guy that once he unlocks, it's over with. Like, you got a guy that, could possibly be in the conversation the best tight end in the league this year.
Jamar Chase, so watch out.
Watch out. They got weapons for Joe Burrow. They said, we ain't going to let Joe Burrow die. We back. They back. That's how they feel. They back. Joe Burrow, 29 years old, with weapons to better play with. Got a nice backfield, nice receiver room. They got a solid receiver room. But what I like about this receiver room, though, Jamar Chase is the guy over there. So now what they did was they got some guys that can help out in the receiver room. Butte ain't back. Tony, we know what he could do. Shakir got good speed. Smith got solid speed. So they got some guys that can play, that can help out and be role players in that receiver room, with Jamar Chase being the target. Until they find out what Deuce Robinson is about. Because now they gave themselves another target at a tight end position where he's a mismatch on the field for a lot of guys. I like the pick. Like it a lot. At 7, I don't remember who had the 7th pick, but we're gonna find out who went 7. You remember? I don't. Who the hell was 7th? I know the. Oh, no. At 8 was the Detroit Lions came down for the Falcons pick, and they swapped and did a trade where the Lions had the 8th pick. Who the fuck had 7?
Steelers. Was the Steelers?
I'm about to find out right now. Was it the
I think so.
Steelers?
My bad.
It was either not a Steelers. It had to be the Steelers. Who did they get? I think they got a linebacker, right?
Left and Marvin
No,
Jones, Georgia.
nah. Who they got? I thought they got some. I thought they got a D tackle. I don't see him though.
Marvin Jones. They got pick 9.
They
They
had
had
pick
pick
9.
9. Yeah, Marvin Jones, Georgia.
So who has 7? Marvin Jones ain't somebody. This is an NFL pedigree. His dad played in the league. Yep, pick 9. Marvin Jones Jr. That's not a bad pick out of Georgia either. It's a good edge rusher right here. Solid pick. Who the fuck had pick 7? Let's go. Bengals, Bears, Bills, Broncos, Browns, Bucks, Cards, Chargers, Chiefs, Colts, Commanders, Cowboys, Dolphins, Eagles, Falcons, Niners, Giants. Oh, right here. There we go. Right here. And they picked the number 1 edge rusher in the draft and Keon Kelly, the Jaguars. They got themselves a dog. I mean, if you think about Nicholas Harbor going 5, and then you look at a 1 point higher at the end, 90 speed, 93 excel, the only separation is the 93 speed. And you got a guy with 92 strength. A little bit more of a real pass rusher. This guy been rushing the quarterback all his life. Where, Nicholas is an athlete that could play either or side of the ball. But he was focused on playing DN. And then he was coached by, Saban. So, Keon Kelly was once a Notre Dame commit, flipped to Alabama, and got coached by that Alabama coaching staff. So, Keon Kelly, I think this helps the Jaguars tremendously when it comes down to the defensive side of the ball. Now they got their tougher guy that can be a double-digit sack guy and make plays for this team, for sure. At 8, the Chicago Bears was at 8, and they went deep defensive line, I think, as well in this draft. I think they went and got Shamar Stewart. I think I'm 100% right here. They got themselves a tweener. Oh, it was at 15. I thought the Bears was at 8. Who the hell had? They got Shamar Stewart at 15. All right, so who had the 8th pick? Broncos, Browns, Bucks, Cardinals, Chargers, Chiefs, Colts, Commanders, Cowboys, Dolphins, Eagles, Niners, no. Giants, Jags, Jets, no. Lions, no. Packers, no. Panthers, Patriots, Raiders, no. Rams, Ravens, Saints, Seahawks, Steelers, Texans, Titans, Vikings. Who the fuck had that 8th overall pick? Am I missing somebody that might have had 2 picks in the top 10? 2 picks. There's.
I'm looking now.
We gotta find out who had this fucking 8th pick. Bears team ain't looking bad now. I just went through the whole team. Who the fuck had the 8th pick? I could probably find it this way. Let's go here. Bucks, Cardinals, Chargers, Chiefs, Colts, 13, 3, 10 Dolphins, Eagles, no
If it
first.
was the Vikings,
Falcons had it. I just said that. Yeah, Falcons. Yep, and the Lions came and got that pick, and they got the cornerback. So the 9 was the Steelers. Steelers at 9, and then the Dolphins at 10. All right, so that's the top 10. We rounded it off. All right, we got it. All right, so what happened was the Falcons moved out of the 8th spot and dropped back in the back of the draft, and Lions came down, and the Lions stole the 5th overall player, and then picked at 8 the 6'4" corner. Mm-mm. That was just a movement along, just the top 10 itself moving along. And if you think about the top 10, everybody hit on ability but one team. You had the Lions hit with the trade, but their pick at 8, they drafted a star, but a dog. So like
right?
they got a good situation because that cornerback you can, that's a position that you can change by playing good.
Seen him build a cornerback in C.J. Henderson.
Yeah, so you can watch him build him. But everybody else,
Boy, that's crazy.
you know what I'm saying? Everybody else got them guys. And because even the tight end that the Giants got is a pretty solid tight end.
Just it's a solid tight end. It's just that
just being in the top 5, you want to hit on you want to guarantee yourself a superstar by picking the top guys at those positions. And that's how you get them.
Definitely. Right.
All right, that was our late night show. We are going to come back tomorrow and kill this bitch and really get deep into it and really talk about teams and how they moved and what they did and what are another draft classes in the 2026 draft, man. We started off in 23, 24, 25, 26. And I think, guys, there's some big things. I mean, we had some really good offensive linemen in this draft. They all went in the first, couple of rounds, which was cool. I still think, when I showed back in the previous show that we had 9 first-round tackles, I think they should have been going off the board like hotcakes. Do you feel like they did? I do think they kind of did.
It kind of was kind of.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Definitely had some.
So we're going to talk about our draft day winners, draft day losers, and so on when we come back later on in the day. We're out of here.